It's the year 1899, and a young would-be English poet moves to Paris and finds himself enveloped in the Bohemian arts revolution sweeping the city. At the center of this thriving artist's paradise is the Moulin Rouge nightclub, patronized by both the wealthy and the poor. When this poet falls in love with the club's star dancer, he draws the ire of the Duke, who is also in pursuit of her heart. Wes and Darling Beat take you on a tour of Baz Luhrmann's 2001 smash musical drama hit, Moulin Rouge, on View the Right Thing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of View the Right Thing. We have a new co-host, which is pretty exciting. Her name is Darling Beat. Say hi, Beat.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for asking. I'm doing well. So my voice is all messed up from, I took a trip to New York. I went to some Mariner games. They played the Mets in New York. And the first game, I texted Desi and I was like, "Are you watching?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to scream like as loud as I can. See if you can hear me on the broadcast." And I did it twice. And the second time I knew I screwed up my throat. So
did she hear you?
She did not.
Oh no!
So it was all for naught. Chris, who's also been a guest on the show, has on the podcast, was also watching, and he also did not hear me. So it was kind of a bummer, but the games were fun.
Oh no!
So it was worth it.
It's okay.
So
it was probably fun while you did it.
Yeah. So I got like a little bottle of water here, and a good friend sitting next to me, not really sitting next to me. We're doing this remotely. But I'm pretending that she's sitting next to me. We've never sat next to each other ever in our lives.
In spirit.
In spirit, yeah. We play video games together, and that's how we know each other. And we get along, and we share a streaming channel together. So good stuff. I always pretend you're sitting next to me, but you're not.
Aww.
You never are.
It'll happen one day.
Yeah, one day. So you say you're doing well. Anything exciting going on in your world that you want to talk about, or?
Nothing too big, just some job stuff, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but job stuff is good. We don't have to go into specifics, but your job stuff is like exciting though, right? So.
Do you ever get that feeling where you're like stuck in a place and then some things happen? So I feel like I'm stuck at my job, and now some things are happening that may revamp me for my job and make me feel like it's not just so as mundane as it's gotten. So that's always nice.
The way you sort of described that, it was kind of like an 80s sitcom intro. It's like, you ever feel like you're stuck in one place, exciting things are on the horizon. Blah blah blah. I felt like I was.
Well, let me tell you how I got here.
Yeah, record scratch. Yeah, it felt very much like the intro to Perfect Strangers or Growing Pains or something.
You see that girl? That's me. Oh my god, I love this.
Yep, that's me. Okay, cool. So other than my trip to New York, there wasn't a whole lot exciting going on. I just produced a movie. I guess that's exciting.
Of course it's exciting.
So I was one of several producers on a movie. So it was we got it.
Well, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I guess if you say so, then it must be true.
Well, my opinion is highly regarded.
Well, it is. It's like the value of your opinion is like 10 of the average Joe's opinions. So
exactly.
People don't know this, but like when you vote for like political offices and stuff too, your vote counts for 10 votes.
Yeah, I get 10.
Yeah, everybody else gets 1. You get 10. Okay, well, so before we get into our movie, I guess the traditional question: have you been to the theater recently? And if not, have you watched anything new at home, maybe.
Well, I have not been to the theater recently. Um, I have seen the Moon Knight,
You
the
watched?
Marvel TV show. I've seen that trailer. That looks good. It's a TV series though, but I haven't really
TV,
seen
Pete.
any movies or what.
That's when you know either somebody's a rookie, it's their first time on the show. Inevitably, every time somebody has their first time, they talk about a TV show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So you passed
Well,
the test.
some traditions just can't be broken.
Yeah.
But I haven't really seen any movies lately or trailers that if I go to watch a movie, I always stick to like the movies that I've seen
Wait,
and
wait.
that I love, and then I rewatch them
Okay.
because they mean that much to me. So it's like, rather rewatch something.
Do you have a favorite movie?
A favorite movie?
Yeah.
Well, I like the entire Saw series.
Oh, that's right. Beats really into horror.
Yeah, like that would be if I go to watch one Saw, literally the next week I'm watching the entire series. So it's like it always inevitably snowballs into all of them.
I didn't really dig Spiral, the last one that came out.
Didn't?
No, I just thought, I don't know.
I don't know. I liked it.
It's interesting. I thought like Chris Rock it was whenever he's like kind of funny and sarcastic, like the movie worked for me. But anytime he was trying to be serious, which was a lot of the movie, I just didn't buy him.
Yeah, it's hard to break him out of that comedic role that he is because he's, a comedian. So it's
'Cause he's
like
Chris Rock. Yeah.
seeing him serious is kind of hard.
Yeah. All right. So, you haven't seen any trailers or anything? You said you saw the Moon Knight trailer. I love that you're like, I've seen the Moon Knight trailer. That whole show has been like out and done for multiple weeks now. Like the
Well,
last episode's already happened.
tells you how behind I am.
Did you see the, like, I don't know, Doctor Strange trailer or?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw that. Did that look any good to you?
Yeah, that actually looked pretty good.
I think you'll like it.
I like Doctor Strange. I like his whole,
It's
vibe.
it's a fairly tame but still in the right genre. It's basically a horror movie. I think no, I'm serious. I think you'll like it. It's directed by Sam Raimi, who did the Evil Dead films, and he did Drag Me to Hell. So he's got a horror pedigree.
Oh my God, I love Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, it's definitely got Sam. It's he's wacky, like he's really into like cartoony, like he's really into Three Stooges. So there's some of those moments in it, but I mean it's a very dark movie. It is not. I don't think it's for kids at all.
Okay,
I will
might have to go out.
I will say horrific things happen in the film for sure.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's brutal. Did you see the most recent Spider-Man?
No.
Yeah, you probably ought to watch that before you go see Doctor Strange. Not a huge prerequisite, but you probably
Yeah,
ought to.
I gotta get up on my Marvel.
What did you watch WandaVision, the TV series?
No.
Oh, you should watch that too for sure. That's a prerequisite.
I did watch Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm. You like WandaVision? It's witchy and silly and fun, but also kind of like it's got some of those dark elements in it as well.
Yeah, I think I'll like it because I've seen some like clips of it, not like a trailer, but like TikTok, they'll take a clip out of something and make a thing. So I've seen some of those and they look pretty good.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I went. So I've seen Doctor Strange. I liked it. Obviously, I saw it because I'm talking about it. But I also saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I really liked. Desi loved. She cried quite a bit during the film, which is interesting because it's kind of actiony and it's kind of like a goofy comedy, but it's got a lot of heart to it as well. And I definitely recommend it. I don't want to like get too into it. I actually kind of think the less you know about it going in, the more you probably get out of it. So I don't recommend the trailer for that because the trailer gives a lot away.
Yeah, my best friend and her sister seen it, and they were like, one who's been more traumatized than the other cried like a baby, and the less traumatized one cried.
Yeah.
And she said her friend who has had less trauma than them didn't cry at all. So I was like, your trauma levels
Yeah.
during the movie can really affect how you take things.
I think like your relationship with certain family members can really affect how the movie or can change how the movie affects you. So, but I don't want to, again, like I said, I don't want to get too into it. Let people kind of discover it for themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's time for us to talk about Moulin Rouge. That's our movie. So, Beat, tell me, my friend, did you enjoy this? This was your first time watching it. It's my umpteenth time, and your first time. Did you enjoy the film?
Okay, so hot take.
Hot take. Uh-oh, here we go.
Excuse me. The first 20 minutes or so, I was like, what does he have me watching?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And then after that, it kind of took off. It like after that first initial crazy, like drugged out scenes that is the first 20 minutes, it became like a modern Phantom of the Opera to me. Like it was very much tragic lovers can't be together, it was very much that for me. And I loved the producer man, the short man with the lisps.
Toulouse-Lautrec. So that was John Leguizamo playing
I loved him so much. He was my favorite side character out of all of them.
Yeah.
He was just so funny. Obviously the comedic relief, but he was hilarious. I loved him.
Yeah.
I did love all of the songs. I'm very much into music, so Elton John and everything that was playing and they were singing it. I did not believe that was Christian's voice or
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, I did not believe that was his voice.
It's amazing
until you told me.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. I was like, "Oh, why are you wasting your time acting, sir?"
Yeah.
Sing to me.
It's funny that you picked up on the Phantom of the Opera thing, because it's it's not like the plot of Phantom of the Opera or anything. It definitely does have sort of that vibe, and it's actually sort of, the plot is sort of based on 3 really well-known operas. So the fact that you picked up on the Phantom of the Opera vibe is pretty astute. Good job. It's so there's La Boheme, which is about this young writer, and he's got these like bohemian friends, and he falls in love with a girl who's terminally ill. So it's it's sort of like doomed. It's going to be doomed. And then there's La Traviata, which is about a courtesan that learns that love actually does exist, and she becomes this like idealistic person who all of a sudden believes in love. And then there's Orpheus, Offenbach's Orpheus, which is like a writer who travels to the underworld of the Moulin Rouge to find love and like bring her out of like the seedy slums essentially and into the upper world. And so anyway, obviously that's a Greek myth, so it's obviously not really the Moulin Rouge, but that's the basic premise. So it's those 3 operas kind of combined together, which is, I don't know, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. There were a couple scenes that I didn't quite get that I was going to ask you about.
Sure, let's talk about it.
The scene where they're singing on the elephant, and then it cuts out after she gives in to the okay, we can be a thing kind of thing.
The elephant love,
and it cuts out to him crying in the windmill.
Yeah.
The guy, and I don't know if it was because he thought it was so beautiful or because he was. I don't think he was jealous. Was it because he just felt like it was so beautiful what they were doing?
Oh, you're talking about Toulouse-Lautrec was?
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that. I'll tell you what I think. I think, you know, Toulouse. There's two different Toulouses in the film that we see. One is the guy who's engaged in the story and interacting with them, and then there's also the Toulouse who like pops up out of the roof or is, you know, standing in a window or whatever. And I think he's like future Toulouse who's sort of looking back at this whole thing. And I think he knows
that made it so much more sad.
Yeah. So I think it's like he knows that this was a doomed story, but it's also like, you know, to the film's point and to like their sort of mantra, the Bohemian mantra about like truth and art and beauty and love, that like that journey, even though it's like this tragic thing, is worth looking back on, and it's good that they took that journey rather than avoiding it. You know, the whole like it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all kind of a vibe. I think that's what that is, because you do see him a few times, and he's sort of like not the same guy that you see in the other scenes, like costume wise, makeup wise, and so on.
Oh, that's beautiful. That just made me so sad.
All right. So was there another thing that you had a question about?
And there was also the scene with Harold and her. So the club owner,
I love him.
He waited. He didn't tell her she was dying, and I understood that he didn't want to tell her because she had a dream to be famous and to get out of there and to go away, and he knew that. And he knew that like that's what she wanted, and he didn't want to upset her, but then he used it to like manipulate her into leaving the boy instead of like, because I hated that.
Well, I think there's a piece of that that's like greed as well, right? Like not just that he didn't want her to. I personally think his motivation wasn't just that he didn't want her to be sad or whatever about her dying. I think it's that he didn't want her to know, because if she knew and got sad, she would stop working, and they needed her. Yeah. So I think he kept it from her for, you know, selfish reasons largely.
Because I loved him in the beginning.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, I enjoyed the character a lot. He's so like full of life, and he became not my favorite side character. Yeah.
When he did that.
Yeah. Yeah, greed. You know, greed corrupts.
But altogether, it was really beautiful. I loved the elephant scene and the the ending scene that was so before the death.
Yeah.
Before that, when he's walking away and she's like, I don't know if he's going to turn around, and she's literally giving every bit of strength that she has
to like sing him the song.
Sing this one song to let him know that she actually does care. I was like, oh.
I love the song so much. It's such a beautiful song. It's really interesting too, because so Baz Luhrmann did the 90, I don't know what it is, 94 Romeo and Juliet or 96 or something. He did the Romeo and Juliet movie in the 90s, and with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes, and they actually wrote that song "Come What May" for Romeo and Juliet, and they ended up cutting it and not using it, and so they used it for this. And this movie was nominated for like 10 or 11 Academy Awards, and it won multiple Oscars, but one that they couldn't vie for was Best Song. They could not put "Come What May" in for an Academy Award nomination, because the Academy has a rule that the song has to be written for the movie that it's being nominated for, and so it got excluded from the Academy Awards, but it probably would have won. I mean, it just like, it's so heartbreaking.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, that's so sad.
Yeah. And it won, let me see here. I have it here. It won, I used to have it here. I swear I have it here. Awards. It won two Oscars. So it was nominated for art direction, costume design, best picture. Nicole Kidman for Best Actress, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Makeup, Best Sound, and it won Art Direction / Set Decoration, which of course it fucking did because it's incredible. And then it won Best Costume Design, which is like, there's so many crazy different costumes in it. Like all the courtesans are all, you know, they all have a completely different character, you know, with different names. It's pretty impressive how they like didn't really have time to go into all of that, but they still told us with their costumes. So I don't know, pretty neat.
Yeah, I really loved Nicole Kidman in the scene where they're rehearsing and they're singing Come What May, and when the freaking lady snitched and she had to like put on an act and she was walking down the steps. Oh my God, she looked like regal. She looked so dominating. I was like, whoo, girl.
Yeah, she's like
Slay.
one of the most beautiful women ever to exist on screen. It's funny too. She wasn't even the first choice for this film.
Who was?
How crazy! They had like a huge list of people. Like they had like Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like any woman who was kind of hot in the mid '90s was like, you know, high on the list. You know, she's so pale. So they, you know, when they first show her, like the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, like the first scene, they light her with like blue light because it basically makes her skin glow because she's like white as a sheet.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. But man, I can't imagine anyone else in that role.
Yeah, she's so beautiful.
Yeah, same with you, McGregor. I can't. I mean, I know that there's a stage production. Like won a bunch of Tonys. There's like a Broadway stage production of it, and it's really popular. But I don't know. I would have a hard time listening to someone else sing the Elephant Love Medley or something. You know, you were talking about you like the elephant scene. Like the first elephant scene is like one of my favorite, where she meets with him for the first time, and she's just like. She's so like over the top. She's such a nut and like crawling all over the floor and like flinging her like negligee around and stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that scene is like 20 minutes. I mean, like, because it's sort of like 3 scenes all put together, but they never leave that location. And they do like a whole like. They do 2 musical numbers in that scene. They do Your Song, and then they do the What's the Play About song, and where they tell the whole plot of the Maharaja. And it's so hard to sustain one location for a really long time in filmmaking, and you know, like I think they just kind of nail it. I think it's so engaging to watch. And it really connects you to the characters. It might be the first time that you really sort of go, okay, I'm all in with Christian. I'm all in on the idea that they could be in love. I hate the Duke. You know, like you really like get a feel for where the lines are drawn.
There.
Yeah. There's a few like filmmaking things that I just really loved, and I've always loved in this film. And one of my favorite scenes is the scene where she finally goes and has dinner with the Duke near the end of the film. Mm-hmm. I love that she shows up like fucking ready for a funeral. Like she is all in black. She's got a veil. Like she's like, I'm mourning the loss of
that. Oh my goodness.
Of like everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, I loved her mourning outfit for the breakup with Christian and then the dinner.
Yeah. It's so
it's
like
she was mourning.
Yeah, it's so great. And then the other part of that scene that I love is the necklace he puts on her. So first of all, that's a real deal, like real diamonds. It's like, I think that thing was like all diamonds and platinum. And it's like $1 million. Crazy.
My God.
And then when he puts that necklace on her, and it's like he's putting a collar on an animal, It's so like
Yeah.
it's so like heartbreaking and uncomfortable to me in that way that like, and then when he like decides to like pull it off her when he realizes what's really going on, and he puts his hand on the inside of it, which essentially like is choking her. I'm just like, Jesus, like how it's so, I don't know, like possessive and cruel. I don't know, but for some reason I think that's, I don't know. I love the filmmaking aspect side of that. I don't love the act itself, right? But I always like it when they really make villains really clearly villains.
Yeah.
You know, they shoot the dog or whatever. So
I really wanted, because you know how she has that necklace in the play.
yeah.
So he puts it back on her after she says she's not going to see him anymore, and she's on the stage and she has that necklace on, and it's a part of the play essentially
Yeah.
as well. And what I really really wanted was when she started singing that song and Christian turned around. I wanted her to take the necklace off so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted her to throw it towards the audience, towards him.
Yeah, I think I would have loved it. I think it would have been like really cathartic. I can also see that like the necklace, like besides sort of being a symbol of property, also sort of symbolizes, you know, obviously it symbolizes wealth and the things that she wants. She's always says she wanted, right? Like she wants to be a real actress. She wants to leave the Moulin Rouge and be this like real actress. And she performs in this spectacular and achieves it, right? So in some ways, like, I think you're right in that it'd be really cathartic and it would be like a great cheer moment. But I think there's also something kind of beautiful about the fact that she gets everything she wants before she dies. She becomes an actress. She's got the symbol of wealth, and she gets the boy back, right?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of all beautiful all on its own. So I'm like kind of okay either way. Like had she done it, I would have been great with it. But
I'm petty.
Yeah. I like to think that, you know, he walked away and he never got it back. The Duke.
Yeah, stupid Duke.
Yeah, F you, Duke. So anything else that like jumps out at you that you just really stuck out to you, or?
No, I think overall it was very surprising, and I didn't think I was gonna like it after, you know, we started watching it after the first 20 minutes, but then after that I kind of got really into it. Like I was like, okay,
I don't know
what's gonna happen now?
I don't know if you heard me. You were muted a lot, so if you responded, I wasn't sure if you actually heard some of the stuff I was saying. But I was like, do you feel like you're on drugs yet? Like, because there's
no, I heard that. I did. I like the CGI effects, the whatever effects they were doing in the beginning of that movie. I was like, what is happening? And then the songs and everything was going really fast, and which is I'm guessing the Moulin Rouge is fast paced, you know, sexy, dirty, raw, you know, it was kind of like giving that vibe, like everything's happening quickly.
Well, and Baz Luhrmann's like, he's just like cut, like, you know, you're just being inundated with shots, which normally a lot of directors like kind of linger on things, but Baz Luhrmann was just like, nope, you're gonna see a new shot every like second and a half. You know,
Yeah.
it's and I mentioned this to you, like, I think after the first Moulin Rouge scene, after the diamonds are girl, because that goes on for quite a bit too. After diamonds are a girl's best friend, I was like, I always forget every time I watch it how insane it is and how you need to just like breathe after the first 20 minutes, because it's just so, it does not stop for 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's really intense.
Yeah.
I did love the Tinkerbell dancing scene.
That was Kylie Minogue.
Kylie
Minogue, you know, she did like, she was like a model / singer in the UK. And her really famous song here was Can't Get You Out of My Head Mm, 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 mm,
Oh, I know
mm,
that's
mm. Yeah, that's Kylie Minogue.
really. Oh my God, she was gorgeous. And like every time I seen her, I was like, what in the messed up childhood stories am I watching?
Yeah, she's really cute, and she's little when it like splits and there's like a whole bunch of her and they're all dancing.
Yeah.
So they originally were going to use a different image than the Green Fairy, and they cast Ozzy Osbourne for that. And they use, so at the very end she screams, which like kind of like launches them into going to the Moulin Rouge, and the scream is Ozzy Osbourne still in the movie.
What?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's funny. I think there's a moment for people where they either decide to just like go in, like I'm all in on this, like I'll go ahead and give it a shot, or they've rejected the film at this point. And I think it's when they start singing Nirvana at the Moulin Rouge. And I think it's like at that moment, it's like, are you gonna just go with it, or are you gonna be like, I can't believe they're singing fucking Nirvana right now?
No, I was literally singing every part. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I was switching from Diamonds to fucking Nirvana to whatever else they had coming in.
I heard you singing like a virgin when he did that.
How could you not? And the Duke, I like that the Duke did not have a very good singing voice. It kind of like set in stone that he's the bad guy.
Well, and
Can't sing. He's evil.
And you just heard Christian singing your song, and like Ewan McGregor's got this like incredible beautiful voice, and then the Duke sings it, and you're just like, okay, yeah,
Ew.
there's a really strong difference. There's a line here.
Yeah.
One of these people actually is full of love, and one of these people is just full
Bullshit.
of lust. Yeah, it's crazy. So like Toulouse-Lautrec, the John Leguizamo's character, the little guy, which obviously John Leguizamo's not a short person. So they used for full body shots, like I think when he's like coming down the stairs and stuff, they like use a body double, and then the rest of the time he's like on his knees. I think he like hurt his knees pretty bad, like he had to do like physical therapy after. And then they just use like green socks on his legs to key out his legs. But he was like a real guy. Several of the people in the movie are real people. And Toulouse-Lautrec did all these paintings of like, clowns and harlequins and prostitutes and stuff. Sex workers, I guess I should use the right term. And so a lot of that imagery is, especially when you first go into the Moulin Rouge and there's just like clowns just like lunging at the camera and stuff, like that's all very much from his paintings and stuff. So, but speaking of injuries, Nicole Kidman got like severely injured on the set of this. She broke multiple ribs, and then she like fell down some stairs in one scene, and then after like her ribs healed, they like were putting a corset on her and re-broke her ribs.
Oh my goodness.
There's like, so a lot of the shots that are like, like medium wide shots. So like maybe right around her armpits and up, like those kind of almost like close-ups. A lot of those, she's in a wheelchair in those shots.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like I think the dining room scene, I think that she might have been in a wheelchair. Like she's sitting the whole time, right? I think she might have been in a wheelchair that whole scene. She had to turn down another movie because I think she was too injured to do it, because it was sort of like a pseudo action film where she'd have to like run around a lot, and she couldn't do it. So
Damn.
put your body on the line for your job,
Well, she slayed, so.
She really did. She really did. I'm trying to think. What else? What other kind of cool things? They made some costume changes to make sure they got a PG-13 rating, because they didn't want to So I guess the dancers at the Moulin Rouge, knickers were split in the middle to show the naughty bits. So they opted to not do that.
Glad they did not.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting. I don't know. So I was talking about Nicole Kidman, and there were other choices for that role. The original Christian was, I think, Heath Ledger, and once they cast Nicole Kidman, they were like, he's too young. So, because it was like, it was pretty early in his career, so they had to cast a different Christian. But yeah,
oh my God, I would have loved to see that.
Yeah,
Heath Ledger was a freaking hottie.
Ewan McGregor's no slouch.
No, he's not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
When they first cut into him and I recognized who it was, I literally immediately went to Star Wars, and I'm like, that's not what he looks like now. Hold on. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, dang, okay.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you can think of. I'm trying to like rack my brain to see if I can remember any other little factoids about it. It was still in the era of like, it was, so when this came out, it was just at the beginning of like the DVD, or near the beginning of DVDs being popular. And so it actually was one of these movies that actually lasted a long time in the theater, which is kind of cool. This was at the tail end of that. It was in the theater for 45 weeks, which is like pretty almost a year. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
That's crazy. It must have been doing really well. I mean, what was their like box office? Like, what did they?
That's a good question. I'll look it up.
Revenue.
I can tell you that the shoot lasted almost 200 days, so I'm sure it was over budget. Let's see here. Box office.
We were talking about how like Alec can sing, and like I didn't know. I felt the same way when I found out that.
I'm so confused. You keep saying Alec. Ewan McGregor. Is that who you're talking about?
I guess.
The main guy. Yeah, that's Ewan McGregor.
Why do I keep thinking his name is Alex?
I don't know, but it's amazing because he plays Obi-Wan, and the original Obi-Wan actor is Alec Guinness. So maybe there's some sort of weird connection you're making there?
Shmaybe. Anyway, Christian. I didn't know Christian. Or what is his name again?
Ewan.
Yeah. I didn't know Ewan could sing. And it reminded me of like when I first saw The Phantom, and I didn't know who The Phantom was, and then I realized that it was what is it, Gerard Butler?
Oh, sure.
And that he could sing. Where are all these voices coming from?
I mean, entertainers, man. They. So the budget on Moulin Rouge was $50-ish million. Which is actually, for how big that movie was, is pretty small. Domestically, it made $57 million, so it made its money back. Although that's not actually true. So if a budget is like $50 million, they usually say like you gotta cut that in half, and that's how much your advertising budget is. So it's like $50 million plus another $25 million. So it's probably cost them $75 million to like put that movie out. So it made $57 million in the U.S. and then another $127 million internationally. So total, it made $184 million, almost $185 million.
Wow.
Yeah, which so successful. And then it had a very successful home video release on DVD.
So. Well, I'm glad they made their money back.
Yeah,
because that was very well made, and yeah. I thought it was great.
So you're glad you watched it?
Yeah.
Would you recommend this to people? Would you just like recommend this to just anyone?
Just anyone?
Yeah, like would you be like, Mom and Dad, you should really watch this movie, or
I think I would recommend it to musical likers.
Musical
Lovers.
likers, musical
Yeah.
lovers.
So if you like Phantom and you like musicals and you like anything with musical numbers in it, you love that. Like that is who I would recommend this to.
Yeah,
I've already recommended to Ruth.
yeah. Well, that's good. Okay, so I have a wheel for our next film, and we're gonna spin it.
Drum roll.
All right, it's like there's a bug in here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here, freaking bug. Okay. So we're gonna tap to spin. It's spinning. Oh my god. So another really weird one we're gonna get to watch. So I love this movie. It's called Ed Wood. Stars one Mr. Johnny Depp, who's controversial right now. So, but it's a pretty fantastic movie. It's got Martin Landau's in it, and Martin Landau won an Academy Award for this film. So he's fucking spectacular in it. Spectacular. One might even say. So I'm gonna remove it from our wheel. Boop. And so that's our next thing. Ed Wood. Are you excited?
Awesome.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
It's first of all, it's black and white. And
Okay.
And it is made by Tim Burton.
Okay.
Starring Johnny Depp. And it is hilarious. I think it's hilarious, at least. It's a very, very funny film. So, and it's a true story.
We love true stories. I'm excited.
So it's great. All right. Well, then, do you want to say anything to anybody before I say goodbye to the viewsters? We call them viewsters, by the way.
Viewsters? Oh, I love that. Well, it was nice. It was nice. It's nice being here.
Okay. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time for Ed Wood. In the meantime, bon cinema.